Live from Smitty1.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Take a lap.
What is going on, good people? You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. The Monday morning quarterback edition is what we call these Mondays now. And we're gonna Monday morning quarterback everything that happened over the weekend. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Joey B and the Bengals and Jamar Chase heading to the Super Bowl. So pumped about this one. I can't tell you how ecstatic I am about Joey B and Jamar Chase getting their flowers and getting into this Super Bowl contest against the Rams. It was disappointing. I was pulling for the Niners, Deebo Samuel. But let's be real. We're talking about quarterbacks. Why didn't the Niners make it? We're going to break that down. You know what my answer is going to be. It's going to be Jimmy G. He's been holding back this offense the entire year, and the people that keep defending him, it's infuriating. I'm getting hot and bothered. Smitty's about to.
Time for a Smitty rant.
That's right. I'm going to get upset, and that's okay. It's okay. It's why we're here. It is Monday morning quarterback. Even though it's afternoon, it's evening for many of you. Evening quarterback. Monday evening quarterbacking, and we're gonna drill into why the Niners are not in the Super Bowl right now. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, "But Jimmy G, Smitty. Whoops. Smitty, Jimmy G got them there." He didn't, Bob. The Niners carried Jimmy G to the Super Bowl. The Niners, Deebo Samuel carried Jimmy G to the Super Bowl. Double A first in the building. Mealy second. James third. And a bunch of you filing in. Zach, Tanner, G-Money, Silver, Ball is life. Tanner. Let's break down the quarterbacks. Let's get into the quarterback rankings for 2022. But first, a little pit stop into this Trey Lance, Jimmy G situation. Trey Lance is magical. Trey Lance has the upside to be, you're going to be shocked. You've probably already seen a couple of my videos the last couple days. I've been talking about Trey Lance, but we're going to get into it in detail. Bengals are going to win the division, said a little man named Smitty back in May and April and June and all offseason. And what do we hear over and over and over? And this isn't a pat your back segment. Okay, I'm not saying I don't miss. I'm not saying I didn't like Clyde Edwards-Helaire a lot last year. I've missed, believe me, and I'm okay taking my losses and my L's and wearing them on my forehead. I'm fine with that. But what I want to say here is that let's not get crazy and say things like, "Smitty, you can't say things like this about Trey Lance. He's never played a full season, Smitty. He's not ready, Smitty." Calm down. This is a prediction show. This is a fantasy football show. And we're going to predict what's going to happen in the future. It won't always jive with every single one of you. So the keyboard warriors in the comments that are going to say, "Trey Lance needs to learn and absorb the offense," saying things as if I don't understand that take or that angle. Trey Lance is going to be magical, and it's going to happen almost instantly. And if you say to me, he's not ready, he's going to practically be a rookie, he's going to have to adjust to the NFL, these things had to happen for Joe Burrow. These things had to happen for Justin Herbert. And even though Trey Lance didn't have a long season, you know, he started and played some games, but it wasn't like a big sample. Joe Burrow only played, 10 games, and he went down. This man, Trey Lance, is going to be magical, and it's going to happen right out of the gate. And I can't wait. Leave your receipts if you think Trey Lance is garbage. If you think Trey Lance is a trash can. If you think Trey Lance is going to fall flat on his face. Pile it in. throw it in the comments, drop your receipt, leave it at the door, and it'll be on file. We'll have it here on file. This guy's walking into the best situation a rookie quarterback, in my opinion, has ever walked into. And that should have happened this year. He should have started week 1. Trey Lance should have started week 1. Why? What did Jimmy G do for you? I know you got to the Super Bowl, or you got to the championship game, falling 1 game short of the Super Bowl. I get that there was a lot of accomplishments there, but were those Jimmy G's? Or was Jimmy G carried the entire way? I hate when people say that you wouldn't have got here without Jimmy. If you would have had Trey Lance, you would have gotten to this point easier, and you would have probably advanced that next game, beating the LA Rams, who the Niners have their number, but they figured out Jimmy, and they said, here's our game plan. Jimmy's going to have to win. We're not going to let you run. We're not going to let you utilize Debo, especially in the second half. We're going to make Jimmy G beat us, and we know that can't happen. I'm tired of people trying to contribute anything to Jimmy G, because Jimmy G only held this offense back. Jimmy G only tried to sell this each game, and either had special teams step up, defense step up, Debo Samuel step up, constantly. Trey Lance would have made things a lot easier. And if you say, oh, he wasn't ready, you put the man in and you let him learn as he goes. You put the man in, you let him develop and mature. As he makes mistakes, he overcomes them. If you watch Trey Lance play football at all this year, when he did play in the preseason against the Cardinals, going toe-to-toe against a Cardinal team that at the time was the best team in football. Not one of the best, the very best team in football by record and by all accounts, by experts everywhere. This team was firing on all cylinders. Hopkins, I get it. It all fell apart. You don't have to remind me and painfully remind me that the Cardinals completely collapsed. I get it. I saw it. I witnessed it. I endured it. But at the time of this game where Trey Lance went toe-to-toe with the Arizona Cardinals, Trey Lance played great. Trey Lance won against the Texans in Week 17. Trey Lance has done everything he's ever been asked to do, and he's done it very, very well. He opens up the offense. It's crazy to me when people say things like, okay, Jimmy G steps back. He can throw these 10, 11, 15-yard maybe, potentially a 20-yard pass, a lot of 7-yard, slant, like a 5-yard slant. That's Jimmy G. He steps back. He's not running. He steps back. He's throwing these intermediate passes or short passes. That's it. Trey Lance steps back to pass. He can hit all of those same things Jimmy can do. He can also hit all the long throws that Jimmy can't connect on. He can throw he's got a cannon. This guy can throw the ball down the field twice the length of the field that Jimmy G can throw. This guy's got a cannon, and he's accurate. And yeah, maybe he's got to work on some things. Maybe he will have jitters. Maybe he'll have ups and downs. Welcome to the NFL. Like, if you think Trey Lance isn't going to have bumps in the road his first season as a starter, you're out of your mind. But he's going to overcome them. And if you say to me he's going to have bumps in the road, why wasn't he used more this year in a what fell short, didn't matter season? You could have had him ready and prepared. But no, Shanahan decided not to do that. Trey Lance better start week 1. If I hear one time out of Shanahan's mouth that Jimmy G might be the starter in week 1, 2022, he got us where we're going to run it back, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it on our Quad Box show. I'm going to absolutely lose it. I'm going to lose it. Jimmy G got this far because the Niners, not because of him. Champs, that's exactly what I've been saying. Literally everything, the Niners would mask what he would do wrong. Debo would mask what Jimmy did wrong. The defense would pick up the slack when Jimmy did wrong. Tart almost caught that ball, that interception. Had he grabbed it and the Niners win the game, guess what everybody's saying today on the Monday morning quarterback show, the Monday evening quarterback show? Guess what people are saying? Guess what people are saying? Jimmy G did it. Tart pulls in. Tart grabs it. Tart, interception. Jimmy did it. Jimmy did it. Jimmy's a winner. He knows how to win. He knows how to do it. He knows how to do it. That's what Jimmy G truthers would have been saying today, and half, if not more than half, of the Niner community would be behind him, which admiration for everybody that backs their team no matter what, thick and thin. I get it. That's loyalty. I'm not mad at any Niner fans here, but Jimmy G is not a thing. He's not a thing. What's up, media? Are you ready to admit, media, that it was a mistake to not start Trey Lance? Are you ready to admit it, media? Because you're in here, and I want to hear it. I've been waiting all season for it. Media. At least drop some truth in here. Just drop it in, and I will be happy. I'll be a happy man. Can't wait for the Trey Lance season. And I'm about to show you how high I am on this man. And it's going to upset some people. There are going to be a lot of people in here. And this is kind of a true statement, too, from Champs, that the allure of a Bill Belichick protege is the reason Jimmy G, I think, hung around so long. Jimmy G to the Eagles, why would you want that? Why would you want that over Jalen Hurts? That's insane. Jalen Hurts is such a better quarterback than Jimmy G. That is crazy. Jalen Hurts he's got a lot of upside and has been held back. You think Jimmy G is going to succeed in that environment? Give me a break. A lot of people are going to be upset by these rankings that I'm about to drop, and it's okay. It's okay. Jimmy G over Hurts? No way. Not a chance, bro. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, and I appreciate you, but this is not accurate. It's not. Jimmy G's a bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL. If that. Bottom 10 quarterback. Jalen Hurts, especially in fantasy football. If we're talking NFL, well, this is a fantasy football show, I might remind you. But if we're talking NFL quarterback, Jalen Hurts is still, he may be a little bit lesser on the NFL quarterback ranking scale than he is fantasy football quarterback ranking scale. But usually they go hand in hand, and they're not that far apart in this case. They're not that far apart in really every case. There isn't really a quarterback that stands out to me that doesn't match up with the NFL rank versus the fantasy rank. But Hurts is a borderline top 10 quarterback. Jimmy G is borderline not in the bottom 10. He might be like the seventh worst quarterback in the league. Just playing Smitty. Okay. You had me worried there, bro. You had me really, really worried for a second. You had me hot and bothered. I was almost going to hit the rant button again, and I was about to hit the take a lap button for you. I can still hit it if you like. Here we go. Get ready for that. No! Smitty, you can't predict the future. It's got to be what we think it's going to be. I can't believe this. Here we go. Here are the top 4 quarterbacks, and we will dig right into number 5, 6, and 7. Number 1 for 2022 fantasy football, Josh Allen. He was my number 1 in 2021. Why would that change? It won't change. Why would it? And the only thing that's changing is everybody else now has him as their number 1 quarterback walking into 2022. When it seemed a little bit high in 2021 to rank this man as the number 1 quarterback, and back in his rookie year, when your boy Smitty put him on the bold predictions at where, Terry? SleeperU.com, number, I forget what prediction he was, 6 or 5 or whatever, top 1 to 4 quarterback. As a rookie, I said this man would be a top 1 to 4 quarterback walking into season number 2-3. It took an extra year than I predicted, but this man's been in my top 4 since he was a rookie. So don't at me any longer about Josh Allen being ranked number 1. That ends now because everybody's on board. Mahomes number 2. You want to have Mahomes 2 and Allen 1. No one's going to get mad at you. You're not taking laps for that. I could definitely like hear your argument. But it is Allen. It is Mahomes. It is Joe Burrow, which got so much flack by Joe Burrow number 3 several weeks ago even. and definitely a month ago. Now where is everybody at? Where's everybody at? Where is everybody at that said Burrow at number 3? This is 2 and 3 weeks ago. Burrow number 3 is way too high, Smitty. Where is everyone at? Burrow's number 3. Herbert number 4. And this is kind of a mix between the now and the future a little bit. Like, call it a morph ranking. Like, we can negotiate them around a little bit. We could say Burrow, Burrow potentially 2 someday, but no, right now he's 3. You can't put him ahead of Mahomes right yet, but he is on his, like, he's locked into the top 3. Mahomes and Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow. These guys, these 4 guys are going to face each other in the A. And what's crazy, if people don't keep in perspective where these players play conference-wise and division-wise, these guys are all in the AFC. 1, 2, 3, 4 overall quarterbacks in 2022 and beyond are all AFC quarterbacks. The AFC is lit. And wait till we get into it, because there literally could be only 2 elite quarterbacks. I'm not talking about good to almost great. 2 elite quarterbacks out of the top 7 might be NFC quarterbacks, which means that Trey Lance and Kyler Murray, if Kyler Murray can get right, if Kyler Murray is healthy, and the Cardinals make sure he's supported, and if that has to be Kingsbury going, so be it. If Kingsbury can turn it around, so be it. Kyler Murray must have DeAndre Hopkins healthy and catching footballs outside of the pocket, because that's the only way Kyler Murray's effective outside of the pocket. Kyler Murray rolls outside of the pocket. Guess who's sitting there? DeAndre Hopkins. Guess who's the number 1 wide receiver in the entire NFL catching footballs when his quarterback is roaming outside the pocket? DeAndre Hopkins, the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, catching footballs from his quarterback when his quarterback is outside the pocket. This was a match made in heaven, a marriage made in heaven between Kyler Murray, who can barely see over the line. I admit it. I'm an Arizona Cardinal fan. I live in Arizona. I can be honest with my quarterback. He's got limitations, but when he is supported, he can be electric. When he's supported in fantasy, he could be the number 1 quarterback in any given week. He could drop literally 80 to 100 rushing yards and a couple rushing tutties and still throw for 250 and 1 or 2 scores. Kyler Murray is still very, very good, and I know a lot of people want to clown on him because he fell apart, because the Cardinals fell apart, but don't forget, don't get it twisted up, that Kyler Murray wasn't a top 1 to 5 lock early on in the season and has been in seasons past. Now, I don't feel decline coming. It literally comes down to Kyler Murray staying healthy, Kyler Murray keeping DeAndre Hopkins healthy, and Hopkins staying healthy all year. That will equate to Kyler Murray being a top 5 quarterback. So if we go to the next scene here and we start ranking these guys, Kyler Murray is probably going to be number 5, and this is going to be if Hopkins stays healthy and all that. Aaron Rodgers might get traded into the AFC. If Aaron Rodgers gets traded, he will go most likely to an AFC team. The thinking is with Hackett, with everything going on in Denver, the potential of Aaron Rodgers landing in Denver is a very decent, likelihood. If he lands in Denver, if he lands in Pittsburgh, this man could be number 6. I'm going to go bold here, and this is why we're here. A lot of you won't like it. A lot of you won't agree with it. A lot of you are going to say, you can't, Smitty. He's too young. You can't do that, Smitty. You can't do it, Smitty. Here it is. This man has the potential to flirt with the 5 and 6 and 7 spots in that range all year long. He might go to 5, he might go to 6, he might go to 7, back to 6, back to 5. Trey Lance will be electric. It'll be almost immediate. It actually will be immediate. Will he have bumps in the road? Sure, but he's entering his second year. He has done a lot of mental learning. He has played in some games. It's not like he's walking in with zero experience. Trey Lance is going to play much better than he would have shoved in. Like, learning on the bench, there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean what I said about him starting week 1 is a mistake. He would have learned and progressed enough to get to where he needed to get. Starting Starting Trey Lance in week 1, you would have at least, and maybe had a better record, but at least been 3-5, like you ended up being. You were 3-5 if you were a Niner fan in here, you were 3-5 at one point during the season. You would have still been 3-5 if not one extra win had you started Trey Lance in week 1, and by that game, 3-5, 8 games into the year, Trey Lance would have been ready. He would have been fully ready. He would have been firing on all cylinders. He would have been the man, the myth, the beginning of the legend. But no, he wasn't used. The team carried Jimmy G until the team couldn't do it anymore. He was bound to fall short, Jimmy G, enough to where the team couldn't catch him. The safety net wasn't always going to be there. The safety net for Jimmy G was there pretty much every game, all the way to the final championship game against the Rams, and he fell short because at some point luck was going to run out and the safety net just wouldn't be there in time. And that's why Debo was so upset, I think, because he carried the team the entire way. That weight on his shoulders was heavy because his quarterback couldn't carry the weight himself. Your quarterback should be carrying that weight, not Debo Samuel. Debo Samuel should have been carrying that weight. Trey Lance should have been carrying that weight. Jimmy G couldn't carry it. Trey Lance should have carried it. Trey Lance is going to walk in to the most potent offense in the NFL that doesn't look like the most potent offense. It looks like one of the most potent offenses. It looks like a top 5 offense in potency. But this should be the number one offense in the entire league. But Jimmy G holds it back. It's still so good that it shines through. It's a top 10 offense, but it is not number 1. It should be number 1. Trey Lance will make this offense the number 1 offense in the NFC. It probably won't even be close. The Cardinals will be, if Hopkins stays healthy, they'll be right up there too. It's the Cardinals. It'll be the Niners. The Rams obviously are still going to be in the mix for being one of the top 3 teams in the league. I get that. I'm not saying the Rams are going to fall off. The Rams are obviously, they made it to the Super Bowl. They have a really good team. Cooper Kupp's on fire. Akers should be back. We'll see what I don't believe in Akers like everybody else does. Odell's looking great. Stafford's on fire. I like the Rams. I'm not saying the Rams aren't right there, but it's the Niners, it's the Cardinals, it's the Rams. Packers are going to fall apart. I don't believe A-Rod's returning. Tom Brady's looking like he's going to retire. This NFC is going to get thin. It's going to thin out. Rams, Cardinals, Niners. Rams, Cardinals, Niners. Who else am I forgetting? I don't know if I am. NFC. Dallas, no. I mean, they'll be. Dallas could beat any team any given Sunday, but when it comes to the playoffs and being one of those teams, I don't think they're going to do it. Eagles, no. Too many things need to be fixed. Washington football team, if they get Aaron Rodgers or Wilson, maybe. Giants, forget about it. Packers falling apart. Vikings, they're not good enough. The Vikings will be a good team. They're not going to be a great team. The Bears, they're years away. Detroit, they're still years away. Tampa Bay about to fall off the face of the earth. The Saints, who's quarterbacking the Saints? No. Falcons, forget about it. They'll be maybe a little improved. Carolina, who's going to quarterback in Carolina? Who's going to want to go to that offense? They're talking about maybe even trading CMC away, which probably won't happen. But no. Rams, I mean, here we are. I mean, tell me this is not the best team, the best division in football. Look at this division right here. The NFC is going to get weak. The NFC is going to get thinned out. If A-Rod leaves and is traded to the AFC, which is probably what's going to happen, because the Packers won't want him in the NFC, they'll trade him to the Broncos or wherever. These are the best three teams in football in the NFC. The Rams, the Cardinals, the Niners, in no particular order. The Seahawks could be. They could still be number 4 or 5. We literally have, in my opinion, in 2022, the three best teams in the entire NFC in our same division. That's why the three teams you see right here, 1, 2, 3, made the playoffs. That's why you see right here, these two teams, the Rams and the Niners, made the conference champion. The conference championship. These two teams facing off in the conference championship from the same division, which would set 3 teams out of 4 to the playoffs. It's unbelievable when you really break it down and you dive into what we're looking at in 2022. So AFC, NFC, 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 and maybe Aaron Rodgers, depending on where he goes, A-Rod will be A-Rod will probably be in the AFC. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the top 7 quarterbacks in the NFL and in fantasy come and derive from the AFC in 2022. It's insane. Here's your only AFC quarterbacks right here. And then, I get it. A lot of people are going to want Stafford. Where's Stafford? Do I even have a Stafford graphic prepared? I don't think I do. Matthew, I'm sorry, bro. Where's Matthew Stafford? Do I have a Stafford? I don't. I'm sorry, Stafford. I didn't even get a Stafford graphic prepared. My bad. Hold on. Let me do Stafford right. Matthew Stafford. Poor guy. Poor guy. It'll be okay, Staffy. Hold on. I don't know if this will drag on the screen here. Come on, Stafford. Yeah, buddy. We got a white background. Whatever. We're not gonna be picky. So you could argue Stafford here. You could argue Thomas Brady here, depending on if he returns or where he goes. I know Lamar. I know. Smitty, what about Lamar? How can you not have Lamar in the top 6? He's such a great quarterback. How come not? What about Lamar? Lamar, in my opinion, runs a very high risk of getting hurt in 2022 and or disappointing. He's vanished in spots for 2 straight years now. He was not anywhere to be found the first part of the 2020 season. Like literally benchable for like the first 7 or 8 games. I forget what game he started to turn around, if it was week 8, week 7. But Lamar Jackson has vanished for an entire half of a season in 2020. He fell apart at times last year, then got hurt. And you could say, oh, well, he got hurt. Well, he runs a lot, too. He runs 150 plus times a season. So Lamar is a guy I'm avoiding. Do I think he could rank right around here? Yeah. Like, I think you could put him at 7 or 8. Like, that's not disrespectful. It's not disrespectful to put Lamar at 7 or 8 and Kyler and Trey at 6 and 5. Like, it's not. You could make these arguments here. Whether you're putting Stafford here at 8 or 7. So we'll kind of combine everybody 7 and 8 and 9, right? We're just going to throw the guys we think are kind of in that range. Tom Brady, if he returns, would be in this mix right here at the 8 spot, the 7 or 8 spot. I mean, Tom Brady had a phenomenal year. Let's see. We'll put Staffy back there. Watson. The reason I'm not putting Watson high, Watson most certainly would have value in this range. He could be 5. He could be 5 or 6 or 7. But Watson has got a long road to getting back into a lineup in 2022, and I'll break that down after all of this to kind of explain why. But Watson's nowhere near playing week 1. He's got some deposition stuff this month here in February coming up. There's a lot of stuff that could unravel or get better for him very quickly. But for now, you can't draft. Like if we're drafting right now, I see a couple. What about Watson comments right here? So Tanner, if you're drafting right now, are you literally going to take him, assuming he's your starter, or are you going to wait, take him as if maybe, he avoids this mess and is able to play 2022? He's got to get traded. I don't think the Texans would even start him. I think they would sit him again. Why sit him 1 year and not the next year? That doesn't make sense. They would probably continue to sit him. If they don't get enough in trade, they won't trade him. And what team's going to give more than a first or maybe a second rounder for a guy that may not play, for a guy that could be taken off the board? That's a lot of value and future value to give up. Teams will be very scared to trade for Deshaun Watson. So does Deshaun Watson deserve consideration, or at least a mention of being a 5 or 6 or 7 if he's starting? Absolutely. But can you draft him at 5 right now? No, you can't. So if we put him in this range right here, it still feels risky to take him there over quarterbacks like Hurts, who played very, very well. Will Hurts be believed in by his team? Who knows? Fields is not top 10 in my opinion, and that's why I don't have him on this board. Dak is borderline because he can vanish. Russell Wilson's borderline because he can vanish. Jalen Hurts is borderline because his team doesn't necessarily believe in him, so he's a worry to rank there. Literally, it's these guys right here in a tight little group. You've got Deshaun Watson. You've got Tommy Brady, and you've got Lamar, Stafford, and A-Rod. And if anybody thinks that A-Rod, Stafford, Lamar, Brady, or Watson are out of rank, give me a break. You could easily argue any one of those guys over the other. It is close. You want Stafford at 7? I understand. Why not? He's got Cooper Kupp. He's got Odell. They could win a Super Bowl. Things are going to, feel very good walking into the next year, regardless for them. So Stafford could be 7 or 6 easily. No one get upset because your quarterback isn't ranked exactly where you want him. It's kind of a crapshoot right here. A-Rod, he could be 6 or 7 or 8. He could be 9. Lamar could be 6 or 7. If he stays healthy and stays on track all year, or per start, he'll be 6, 7, or 8 or whatever. These are all very close. But what I feel is very, very interesting is that this is going to get so much pushback right here. This Trey Lance being in the top 5 or 6, that it tells you something, right? Are you going to go draft Trey Lance at number 6? You better not. Why would you take Trey Lance as the 5th or 6th quarterback taken when ADP data tells you that you could get him? You're getting laughed at if you take him at 6 or 5 or 7. So please understand what I'm talking about here. Please understand what I'm talking about here. This is all about what you can get away with in fantasy football. Fantasy football is all about what you can get away with. And you can get away with ADP's help drafting this man, Trey Lance, right here. Probably in this 9, 8, 9, 10 range, depending on the news and buzz and depending on how good he looks and when you draft. But as of right now, you can trade for him in a dynasty league at rock bottom pricing compared to what it'll be later. Coming out of that game, I had 2 or 3 people on my text line talking to me about Trey Lance deals. And one of them I said, do it. I do it. He didn't do it. And as soon as the game ended and Jimmy G sold the game, the guy that he was traded with pulled the deal. You're going to see people say, whoa, Jimmy G's out. Trey's value just went up instantly. So Trey's going to have higher value for sure right now. You're not going to be able to trade him at seller dweller pricing. The time to trade him was when I was telling you, I did a Trey Lance video before the game. I did a Trey Lance video the week before. Go get Trey Lance before the games end and the whole season comes to a close. And now look what happened. Now Trey Lance is not number 10 or 11 or 12 on some spec that he could be the starter. Now he's looking like everyone's guaranteed starter option in 2022 in San Francisco. But, Shanahan could still throw us a curveball, that's for sure. But right now, Trey Lance looks like the guy. People are gonna value him higher, but no one's gonna want to draft him where I'm ranking him here, and you have to be very, very careful. Don't forget Tyler Huntley. You can't rank Tyler Huntley in the top 10, Ozzy, but you know how much I like him. I've talked about Tyler Huntley before. He doesn't have a starting job at all, so you can't put him here. But if Tyler Huntley gets a gig, you guys, you've seen tons of content from me on Tyler Huntley. A lot of people don't like Tyler Huntley. A lot of people think he's not good. If he lands in the right spot, to the moon. To the moon, Tyler! So keep an eye on him, but no, you can't rank him in the top 10, but a great one to bring up, and I talk a ton about him. I feel like Burrow will be the number 2, which is so funny, Nick, and I appreciate you saying that, because people laughed at him at 3. People laughed at him at 3 about 2, 3, 4 weeks ago when we did this. Go look at the comments. Burrow at 3. Burrow at 3. You can't put Burrow at 3. That was way before anything started looking like this team was actually going to go deep into the playoffs. Ziggy, shut up. That was, I mean, we didn't know if this team was going to go far into the playoffs at that point. People were writing them off. Oh, the Bengals, they luckily won their division. Yeah, media, I talked about that last night. Tyler Huntley would be a very, very smart addition to San Francisco. If let's say he didn't. This is what I said last night. I'll repeat it. Tyler Huntley, if he doesn't find a job, the Niners will make a season-saving move, like a genius move to put Tyler Huntley behind Trey Lance because of how similar the offense could be if Trey did, let's say, go down. Tyler Huntley could win. You could win you could take a team deep into the playoffs with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. Ziggy, show me the front door.
Okay.
Let's see who's at the front door here. We got a package. It's a mailman. Ziggy off. Tyler Huntley in a Niner uniform would be beautiful. The part that I said last night that might make it not possible, though, media, is that he's probably going to get a starting job. You're talking about a bunch of teams needing quarterbacks in a very weak quarterback class in the NFL draft. So Huntley will most certainly probably get a better offer than, hey, come back up Trey Lance and get behind a guy that we don't ever anticipate leaving. So Huntley probably won't go to San Francisco, but I was saying it would be the best thing that San Francisco could do to protect the quarterback position and to not miss a ton of a beat, you know, if Trey were to go down for a couple games or something. You could win games with Tyler Huntley. I love Tyler Huntley. Plus, media, you didn't like Tyler Huntley, I thought. Dalton. Would someone say Dalton? Dalton. Okay. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments here. I'm sure there's a lot of pushback. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Jimmy G to the Bucks. I hope Jimmy G goes to the Texans where he can't do any damage to any fantasy football players. Fields doesn't have a team. Yeah, you can't put Fields in the top 10. You can't put Fields in the top 10. Fields over Lance all day. Welcome, Bear fan. Appreciate you being in here. We do appreciate you, though. Murray and Lance, I don't believe, belong in the top 10. It's why we play the game, David. Enjoy the show. Mac Jones, top 10. No, thank you. I like Mac Jones, but Mac Jones didn't put up the performance that warrants ranking over these guys, in my opinion. I just don't see him being an electric, potent signal caller that's dropping top 10 fantasy numbers. Like, keep in mind, this is a fantasy football show. Mac Jones don't score fantasy points like that. I don't think he will. I don't think it's going to develop either. Hurts may not start in 2 years, and it's unfortunate. Dak becoming a value potentially, but he's also a liability at the same time. I feel like Smitty is disregarding that scoring fantasy points because all running back QBs should be ahead. Well, I mean, let's take a look at this, bro. Number 1 quarterback on my ranking is the best running quarterback in the league. The number 2 quarterback on my ranking is a very, very solid, capable runner in the NFL, bro. Herbert scores touchdowns. Kyler Murray's my number 5. I'm not sure what you mean. Trey Lance is going to be one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL. My top 6 is littered with running quarterbacks, so I'm not sure what you're saying there. Maybe I misunderstood you too. If I did, I apologize. Huntley to the Redskins. That's something that I've been definitely pulling for. Redskins, Saints, potentially. I'd rather Huntley go to somewhere where he can make like a McLaurin top 6 to 10. Because if McLaurin gets a quarterback, he's to the moon. To the moon. McLaurin's a top 6 to 10 wide receiver in the NFL, and people don't even see it coming. They just feel like, oh, he dropped off. He wasn't what we thought he was. He is. He is exactly what you thought he was. And Lamar, yeah, predicting decline for Lamar, and it won't be popular, but it'll be one of those things where everybody's like, I'm done with Lamar after this year. I predict that after this season, Lamar drops, inconsistency and injury, and just not being anywhere close to the consistency of these guys. Like Kyler, you could call inconsistent if you want, but Kyler had some very, very crazy scenarios dropped on him and his situation in 2021. Team was the best team of football. People don't give the Cardinals and Kyler Murray enough credit. Like, what have you done for me lately? What happened? Recency bias. Like, Kyler Murray, everybody abandons Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was on fire at the beginning of the year. Kyler Murray started off the year as a top 3 quarterback, and the Cardinals did so through about 8, 9, 10 games. And then Kyler Murray got hurt, and he dealt with a high ankle sprain pretty much the entire rest of the year, never really fully got over it, and was without Deandre Hopkins. What would Joe Burrow be doing without Jamar Chase? What would Aaron Rodgers be doing without Devontae Adams? What would Herbert be doing without Keenan Allen? What would Tom Brady be doing without his wide receivers? We see it. Like, let's not twist up Kyler Murray's value and suggest that he can't still be a top 3, 4, 5 fantasy quarterback. Like some of the comments of him not even being in the top 10. Like, give me a break, man. This guy is phenomenal. He just had some big issues pile up in 2021 all at the same time, between losing his wide receiver, a bunch of injuries across the team, having the high ankle sprain, the team falling apart, the play calling. It was a mess for him. But Kyler Murray could be a league winner if he falls into like the 6th, 7th round range. Trey Lance can be a league winner. I bet you could get Trey in round 7 or maybe 7. Maybe round 7. Trey Lance can win you a league from round 7. Like, the dilemma is going to be, do you take Lance in round 7 or do you take, Mahomes at the top of 3 or Josh Allen at the top of 3? Or in the 2nd. I mean, I have a feeling Josh Allen is going to start going in the bottom of the 2nd round, and people are going to start a little bit more gravitating toward 1 or 2 QBs being good early round quarterbacks, and then the rest you wait on. Kyler Murray, Herbert, Burrow, if these guys fall into the rounds 5, 6, 7, then you have to ask yourself exactly what I said last year. I did not draft Mahomes really in any leagues, and I did not truly promote Mahomes to be drafted in most fantasy football videos that I did all year long, because Mahomes was going a round or a round and a half earlier than Josh Allen, and Josh Allen was my number 1 quarterback. So you literally had very, very little video of me ever telling you to draft Mahomes in 2021, because Josh Allen I had ranked higher and Josh Allen was going later. I pretty much would never tell you, hey, draft Mahomes. If you can wait, and Josh Allen was the biggest, probably the number 1 player I told people at scale to draft in 2021. And anybody that follows me knows that's true. Lamb, who disappointed, but still did well. He just disappointed. Lamb, Josh Allen, Javonte never fully got unleashed. That one was not a bust in a sense, but it was definitely like a disappointment. Josh Allen was probably the number 1 player that was in pretty much every draft strategy video that we did. And so Mahomes wasn't a guy to draft. And so that could be relevant here. Like, am I going to be telling people to draft Josh Allen in multiple leagues over and over and over? when you can get Burrow 2 rounds later. Maybe you won't be able to get Burrow 2 rounds later. I imagine what happens in the Super Bowl will determine what happens with Burrow's value. But if you can get Herbert at 6 or 5, these are all such good quarterbacks. It's different than saying wait on a quarterback like Stafford or Lamar or whatever. I'm getting one of the big 5 or 6 guns probably. Like I can't imagine myself not owning one of these top 6 or 7 guys. Like I could see myself owning Rodgers in a league or two that I waited and the other guys got taken. But I'm going to own Allen, depending on Mahomes' value, Burrow, Herbert, Kyler, and Trey in a majority of my leagues. Lance is going to be a monster. Yeah, there's talk about, so this is what a lot of Niner communities don't agree with this, but I think that there's a chance that Shanahan will poke around about Aaron Rodgers. And I mean, Shanahan didn't start Trey Lance, or didn't consistently start him. So he's obviously not married to him, Like he obviously would potentially trade him because he wasn't bet on playing him. Like how confident can he be in Trey Lance if you had your quarterback Jimmy G he's not an efficient quarterback at all, and he has 2 injuries. It's a shoulder injury and a thumb injury, which Jimmy G just admitted yesterday or today that he's surprised he made it, and his thumb was killing him on every single throw. He just admitted he was hampered every single play he was hampered, and he still played. Like what? How is that good quarterbacking? How is that good leadership? If anything, I lost a little respect out of Jimmy with that comment, and that was the only thing I had left to give Jimmy was respect for having heart and determination and all that. But like I even lost a little bit of that from Jimmy when he admitted that he was playing way more injured than he let on. How is that helping your team? How is that helping your team to actually walk out of that tunnel and hide how hurt you are when you're not a good quarterback anyway? You can't make 10-yard throws accurately, and you have a thumb that you say you can't believe it didn't fall apart, and you can't believe you made it through, and that it killed you and to throw the football on every single throw, and you made it. He says something like, I made it. Where's that quote? It's a ridiculous quote. It really made me upset when I read it. I was like, I lost a lot of respect for Jimmy's desire to help the team when I read this quote. This is a very selfish decision he made to play through this injury because of how he describes it. It'd be one thing to say, hey, he played through an injury, I give him credit, but for it to actually be as bad as he's describing it right here, it makes me sick that he robbed Trey Lance of an opportunity of coming in and being a savior, which I think Trey Lance could have been. I think you could have made it to a Super Bowl performance here with Trey. NFL Network, Ian Rappaport reports Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to undergo surgery. Okay, that's not that. It's the one after this. So he's going to have surgery, which confirms that it was bad. And here is what Jimmy G said that just makes me sick. Let me screen grab this right here, drop it on. This makes me sick. And he robbed Niner fans of an opportunity to get Trey Lance out there. Look at this. Jimmy Garoppolo said he dealt with pain in his right thumb on every play during the 49ers' 3 postseason games. Now I can say the truth. Now I can say the truth. What in the hell were you doing, bro? I mean, I'm telling you, I lost a lot of respect for him on this with this comment here. Now I can say the truth because I was lying to all of you. Every play, I feel it. But we made it through. You didn't make it through, Jimmy. You like how he's saying we made it through? Like, we did it. We did it. We got there, guys. Don't worry about it. We made it through. You didn't make it through anything. This is ridiculous. This makes me sick. But we made it through. Garoppolo said, I can't believe this. SHI, you know what? Held up. To be completely honest with you, the thumb the shoulder, all of it. It was one thing after another. Every time I threw, it was a lot. Garoppolo suffered the injury to the thumb in his throwing hand in Week 16 against Tennessee and was held out of the 49ers Week 17 contest against Houston, where Trey Lance came in and played amazing. Maybe he had a rough first half, whatever. Trey Lance stepped up, won the game. It was a big game, too. Jimmy Garoppolo, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Now I can say the truth because I was lying to you. I was incapable. Who was at my front door? Ziggy, show me the front door.
Okay.
He's so slow, too. Oh, it's Miss Smitty. Ziggy, off. Yeah, what a bum. I'm sorry, but it is. Niners, by nature, says it's selfish. It's selfish. It's selfish. I'm very upset. It makes me sick. You guys got robbed. Jimmy G robbed you out of an opportunity to try and win this game. Maybe Trey Lance wouldn't have won it, okay? I'll be realistic and say that you had a better shot with Trey than you did with Jimmy. I don't want to hear anybody tell me that you had a better shot with a double injured Jimmy G that just admitted, to tell you now that I could be honest and tell you the truth, it killed me on every throw. If you truly believe, even if you think rookies make mistakes and he'd have a learning curve, if you truly believe you would have a better shot winning that game against the Rams in that conference championship game the other night with a double injured Jimmy G than a healthy Trey Lance, you are out of your mind. You are out of your mind. Jimmy G selfish, and I'm upset. He robbed fantasy football owners all year by keeping Trey off the field, and then he robs Niners fans from who knows what would have happened, okay? I won't call it and say you would have for sure won, but he robbed you of a chance to win. Because with Jimmy, you didn't have a chance because the team was eventually going to not be able to carry him at least for a quarter, and it would be the wrong quarter. It would be the end of a game. Like, the team would come around and carry him eventually, but things wouldn't always line up. We knew there was going to be a time where Jimmy G could not be caught at the right moment because the defense, the special teams, Debo, wouldn't be in the right place at the right time, and look what happened. Extremely selfish. Extremely selfish. We made it. Yeah, we made it through. We made it through. Unbelievable. This comment by Jimmy G. Unbelievable. Look at this. What Silver's highlighting here. This comment is unreal. I'm going to put Silver's comment right above it. So now I can say the truth. Every play, I feel it. But we made it through. We did it. We made it. You got to be kidding me. This man right here should have been starting all year. All year. This man right here is going to grace all of you in fantasy football with amazingness for years and years to come. This man right here is going to be magical, and it's going to happen right out of the gate. This man right here is going to be dogged, and you're going to have a reason to be upset, 49er fans, and get amped up about revenge tour time, because this guy's going to lead you. If Shanahan messes this up, I swear to you, if Shanahan does not start Trey Lance in week 1, I will lose it, and I will be on a campaign for this man to be removed, because there's no excuse for not putting Trey in there. With the pandemic and everything that's been going on, this guy's been sitting too long. You don't want dust to collect on this man. He needs to be out there playing football and proving himself like he's been proving himself every time he's been asked to hit the field, with an almost toe-to-toe marching comeback against the Cardinals at the Cardinals' best. When the Cardinals were on fire, this guy goes toe-to-toe and almost marches a comeback without George Kittle in the lineup, and I believe without a kicker. I think that game was without a kicker. This guy wins in against Houston in Week 17, and Houston was pretty tough at the end there. To believe it or not, knocking off, who'd they beat? The Bengals? Who'd they beat? Houston was not like an easy walk in the park, and that was a big stage, big time game. Okay. Let's go to the voicemails real quick. I told everybody I'd get to those. I mean, I know I'm ramped up. There we go.
Hey, Smitty, I'm watching the 49ers-Rams game, and I see Higbee's out, Akers is out, and now 49ers players out. Can you recall another season where there were this many injuries? I wonder what your thoughts are on that. Thanks.
Yeah, we've had years where we've had ACL after ACL tear, and like there's been. It always seems like every year is the worst, but in fantasy football, like the amount of busts we had, I don't think we've had a year like that in a while. But injuries, yeah, we have. But the amount of players that disappointed and busted, it was a bad year. But in terms of like the playoffs and things that we've been seeing lately, it's not that uncommon. And the Niners been escaping injury too. Like Debo limping off the field. There were a lot of injuries coming out of that that Packer game in the cold and everything, and the Niners were able to get back on the field for the most part. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Smitty, what's your line in the sand for Ridley in an early off-season dynasty startup?
My line in the sand for Ridley. So like, where does Ridley flip? My line in the sand analogy is where a player flips from a bad value, avoid. Where's the line in the sand to where the player goes from avoid but flips to a value? Like the example of like Barkley. Don't draft Barkley in 2022. You got to be out of your minds. Where does Barkley flip though? Like at what point do I say, don't draft Barkley, okay, I'd draft Barkley there. Where's my line in the sand? Ridley is an avoid until we know what's going on, until a very like deep range, bro, for me. Like, maybe 5th round, but probably 6th round. I know that's deep. I know that could be a value. I get that. I understand that. But I don't think I could take Ridley not knowing what's going on with him any higher than round 5. Like, and that would be, I would do that in one league. I don't think I could take Ridley time and time again in the 5th round. That proves to me that my line in the sand is deeper than that, because if he turns from bad to great at a line in the sand, that line in the sand should be at a point where it doesn't matter how many leagues I'm going to scoop him up, because that value is like real high reward, low risk. But Ridley's still a high risk in the 5th round. You know, so like maybe 6th round to be safe. And could he, like, I will preface this so people don't think, oh, you hated Ridley. If Ridley announces he's coming back, he's motivated, we understand what's going on in his mind, bro, and we know he's coming back, I could get behind like a 3rd or a 4th rounder potentially, but we need to see it, you know.
Hey, Smitty, where are we drafting Odell Beckham Jr. in 2022 redraft leagues? I was kind of a skeptic on him earlier this year, but he's clearly emerged and clearly back to that elite form, and looks like the number 2 in elite LA Rams offense for next year. So where are you drafting him in 2022?
Great question, Odell Beckham Jr. Where do you guys say we're drafting Odell in 2022? He's a good player again. He vanished for a while. Silver saying, fool me once with Ridley. You can't fool Silver twice. Well, we all felt that way about Odell too. You know what I mean? Like, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times, fool me 4 times. Odell, you can't fool me. Okay, one more time. 5 times Odell's tricked me. There's no way Odell's coming back now. Odell back from the dead. Odell's dropping fire. Odell's happy. Odell's in a great place. You know? So I agree. And Mark Cleveland, glad to see you here. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame any one of you for not going near Ridley. But to answer the first question, where is your line in the sand, Silver? And Mark, there's probably a line somewhere, right? Like 8th round. You know, that's the key about the line in the sand. Usually there is a line for every player. Every player is eventually going to have one. The question is your line so far down on the beach that he'll never fall to that line? Like, that's probably going to be the case for Ridley, for Silver and Mark Cleveland. Yeah, Odell is back on track. Terry says round 6, 7. I don't think Odell's fallen that far. Odell's probably like 5, 6, maybe 5. I think Odell could be trusted in round 5. I mean, some might take him in the 4th. I don't know where his ADP is going to go, but he certainly has at least round 5, 6 value. But maybe busting out some mock drafts, I might be like, I could take him. I could take him at the top of 5. I don't know. It's a good question. Very good question.
What do you all 49ers give a chance of beating the Rams, and what do you think is the number one?
That was an old question that we had on a Quad Box show. Lang, that stings a little playing that question. I thought that one was for this show. Lang, little bit of a stinger there, Lang. Media, ask that in a voice message, and I'll try and play it here. All right, guys. Robert Woods. I'm not going near Robert Woods. He's coming off that ACL, and it's kind of a late tear, and I just don't see it. I don't see it, man. I like Woods. Bobby Trees. We love Bobby Trees here on the show, but I couldn't see drafting him. I just don't think he's going to have a productive season coming off that injury so late, and I don't think he's going to have like a full-time role just sitting there for him, and he's just going to scoop it up and have no setbacks and swelling and missed time and re-injury and, Achilles injury. Like, so many things follow an ACL injury for like an older player, and he's not like a spring chicken. So torn ACL, it's going to be hard for him to come back from that. Brandon Ayuk could be I would draft him as an excellent wide receiver 3 with hopes that he drops like fire wide receiver 2 numbers. But don't go drafting Ayuk, I think, higher than a high-end wide receiver 3, because I think you can get away with that. But I don't know. He could climb into low-end wide receiver 2 numbers, and I still want to draft him there. But I kind of got to see his ADP pan out and kind of like go from there. That's a good question. All right, guys, appreciate all you. Subscribe if you're new, like, and comment below. Drop a comment. There are 52 to 70 of you popping in and out, so I should have at least 50 to 60 comments once I hit finish on this video. So click the comment button and drop a comment. Ask me a question. I will get back to you. I'll get back to pretty much everybody in the next 12 to 24 hours that drops a comment on this very video. And don't forget to get on over to sleeperu.com.
Want bold year-round rankings, trade calculators, and bold predictions? Get on over to sleeperu.com.
So get on over to Sleeper. It's giveaway time. Who wants a Lou Malnati's pizza? Whoa. Sorry about that. Hit an old play. Hey, we had fun at Lou Malnati's. I don't know if you guys saw the live stream, but they hooked us up. They covered all of our pizza at our table with everybody. Like Lou Malnati's did us a solid. Go to LouMalnati's.com. Online.LouMalnati's.com. Let me put up the graphic. We owe them a big thank you for how they took care of us when we did this live stream. Also, we've got this merch that's up on. I don't know if I still have it on my stories, but I'll be putting a link up on my stories here in a little bit. Look for it. But we're selling this quad box merch. This is a Debo sweatshirt. We got shirts. We got even tank tops if you want one. But these hoodies are elite. So these Debo boombox, they walk out with the food's amazing at Lou Malnati's, bro. It's amazing. But these quad box shirts will be for sale. You're going to be able to buy them in the campaign, I think, for another 8 or 9 days. My link will be in my stories. I'll put it up. But these will go quick. We're never going to print them again. It'll be a campaign of like 8 days, and then they're gone. And then we'll come up with another campaign of clothing in a merch run. But this will never be able to be had again. So you got to make sure you buy it now. Link will be in my stories. I think Raj has got the link in his profile. So if you go to his profile, he's got the link there, and then I'll link it in my stories. So go to Instagram and check it out. I'll put it up here in a second when I get off here. And you want to get these before they go, because we'll never print them again. Appreciate all you. Let's go. See you tomorrow, Tuesday. Be here, 7 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're live here on the Fantasy Football Show here at youtube.com/the Fantasy Football Show. Always found at smitty1.com as all the links to everything I have. My Spotify show, everything. My YouTube, my sleeperu.com, my rankings, my one-on-one text advice, everything can be found at smitty1.com. So if you ever get lost, go to smitty1.com. Now leave a comment.